Hey folks, Jerry Stevenson, Chief Redneck in Charge at the Redneck Barbecue Lab, East Crossroad, Benson, North Carolina. Here today in the RBL studios to show you folks how to make chicken and sausage gumbo at home, just like I do at mine. First thing though, before we hop into the video, I want you to go down and like this video for us. Share this with your friends. We're trying to inspire here as well as share what some of these little videos, these recipe videos that we're doing. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber, and click on that little bell symbol that's on there. It will notify you when videos like this one drop, and you'll be the first ones to see it as they come out. And as always, please leave your comments as to what you thought about this video and suggestions as to what you would like to see us do in the future. Topics, hey, anything's up. Like I said before, I'll do anything but sing and dance. So let's hop into this. Chicken and sausage gumbo. I grew up in Eastern North Carolina. We really didn't have any Cajun restaurants or Creole restaurants. I didn't even have any Cajun or Creole friends. Later on in life, in my travels, it's taken me all around the world, I went into Louisiana to do some work and came across this type of cuisine that I had heard of but was not familiar with. First thing that I struck was that it reminded me of home. See, here in North Carolina, the basis of a lot of our sauces, like in barbecue, rubs and barbecue sauces and a lot of other dishes we do, is the cayenne or the red pepper. And the Creoles and the Cajun cooking, I know there are two different types, and you guys are more educated than I am. You can kind of figure that out by going to YouTube. But a lot of the basis of their cooking evolves around that red pepper too, and that's where that similarities of when I ate that food for the first time reminded me of home. And a lot of the things that I ate down there reminded me of some of the dishes we had there, and this was one of them. This chicken and sausage gumbo that I had down there, of course, the sausage was an andouille sausage, which is the prevalent sausage down there. The chicken was chicken breast at the time, which I was and used to be a chicken breast and wing lover until I found out what a boneless, skinless thigh was and how much more flavor it had. So I took that taste that I had down there in Louisiana and I kind of brought it back to North Carolina, and this is my rendition, the Redneck Barbecue Lab rendition of chicken and sausage gumbo that I do at home that you folks could do at yours. Very easy, just a little bit of time, just a little bit of patience, and you could turn something out that you would impress your family, your friends, or even important guests with from time to time whenever you make it. So the first thing that you need is you need what they call the Trinity down there, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity in the Cajun Creole cooking is the celery, the onion, and the bell pepper. Right here we've got some celery ribs that I've gone ahead and cut the ends off of. We've got about 4 of them right here that I'm going to put into a pan. Why am I putting it into a pan? Good question. I will answer that here shortly. The next thing that we will put in there is one large, just yellow onion. This is a sweet onion that I use. I'm not a big, the white onion. I use those on hot dogs, you know, raw for hot dog chili and stuff, or for regular chili. The purple onion I use a lot in pickling, and the red onion and pickling, making our pickled onions. I use it in some of the cooking when I'm doing some Spanish dishes and stuff. But the sweet onion is the one that I like for this, and this is one of the onions that, well, I mean, honestly, once I cook this thing and the sweetness starts to come out of it, I'll throw it on top of a piece of filet mignon and use it much like I would salt and pepper. And I didn't know, I thought I got the aggravation-free onions today. They usually peel rather easy. But we're just gonna cut these in half, peel them. We're gonna leave them whole. I'll show you why. Like I said, all will be revealed shortly. Most of you folks probably already know what I'm about to do, since this is the barbecue channel and we, you know, do barbecue. Yeah, we're gonna throw it onto the smoker. But go ahead and get this peeled for you. Get this knocked down real quick. Next thing that I'm going to use is a poblano pepper. Why not a green pepper? Well, personal preference. I personally do not really like bell peppers. I like poblano peppers. I know they're very similar to one another, but something about this poblano pepper, it's a bit, when I put it in my smoker, it gets a bit more smoky, whereas that green pepper gets a more, it's a stringent, a grassy smell and a grassy taste to me, whereas this kind of gets this silky, smoky taste that I found is a really good basis in not only stuffed peppers, like kind of what we've done before in some of the videos here on the YouTube channel, but also for the basis of stews and soups like this chicken and sausage gumbo. So one I've already cleaned. Let me show you how I clean these. They're really simple. What we do is we just kind of knock the end off of it, the stem end off of it. Hear me say knock, it's just cut. And if you notice in here, you can see the ribs and the centerpiece right here. This is where the seeds are at. The seeds are bitter. They're not digestible. They add nothing to this dish. And a lot of the hotter peppers, this is where you will find the heat. So instead of letting the pepper dictate the heat levels, you can use cayenne pepper or habanero pepper or whatever type pepper to increase your heat or decrease it by doing this simple step right here and removing it. Poblano has very little pepper, but look at there. I actually have the right knife today. Got the old paring knife out instead of the old chef's knife. But I just trim around that real quick, knock it out, give it a little knock like that. Normally it falls out. Of course, today it's not. I just noticed that I missed part of the rib. Cut that out. And you see we're left with pretty much a cleaned out pepper. So we'll put that into the pan. Next thing that we're going to be putting into this chicken and sausage gumbo is, you guessed it, sausage. This sausage is our house sausage here at the Redneck Barbecue Lab. It's one we worked on for quite a while. We actually took some classes over at NC State to develop this recipe. We ruined a lot of meat. We made a lot of people not sick, but just go, man, that's really bad. Until we found a recipe that we stuck with. This is a pork and beef-based sausage, and it's got a pickled jalapeno in it that adds a little bit of acidity, as well as just kind of something in the background that makes you just wonder what it is. So there you go. I gave you what the wonder is in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in here, and then I'm gonna throw our last ingredient, which, if you're following around, this is chicken and sausage gumbo, would be the chicken. What we've got here is a boneless, skinless chicken thigh. We found these cooking, we use these at the lab. We found these to be more moist, more flavorful than any other piece of the chicken. They hold well in high heat and slow heat. They take smoke very well. We just found that this is makes a great sandwich and really adds a lot to this gumbo flavor-wise. We're going to season these. I won't season any of the other meats or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and season these with our Redneck Barbecue Lab, our all-purpose rub, one that we use pretty much on everything. You've heard the popcorn, baked potatoes. It's true, we do. We'll give these a quick season. And then, if you haven't guessed it already, once we get these just quickly seasoned, light seasoning, okay, it doesn't take a lot because we're developing flavors here, and what we're trying to do here is kind of help suck out a little of that protein. Because as you know, the protein, when it comes out, the salt and the pepper kind of forms a little crust and add a little bit of more in the background flavor when you bite into that piece of chicken. It kind of just makes you say, what's that? So anyway, that's pretty much it. Those are the ingredients. This makes up the basis of this chicken and sausage gumbo. The next step, what we do and how we make our chicken and sausage gumbo, which is a little different than the chicken and gumbo I had in Louisiana, is we put this in the smoker for 1 hour. And what that'll do is it'll drive out a lot of the moisture. It'll help concentrate some of this vegetable flavor. And it will impart some smoke onto these vegetables and onto this meat. We're not thoroughly cooking them all the way through. We're just kind of cooking them halfway. And then we're going to end up coming back in for a third step, putting them in a pot and finishing off this gumbo. But right now, We're gonna go ahead and throw these. We got a smoker waiting outside. It's got some cherry wood rolling in it, some royal oak, charcoal, heated up, ready to go, waiting for this. We're gonna go outside, throw this in. 1 hour later, we're gonna bring it back in for you guys and start in preparing the last steps of this gumbo. All right, we've got our chicken that we seasoned, we've got our sausage that we seasoned, and we've got our Cajun Trinity. Now we're gonna throw it into the smoker. We're gonna put it in there for 1 hour to get some smoke on this and then kind of par cook it a little bit. We don't wanna cook it all the way. 1 hour's time, we're gonna come back, pull this out, then we're gonna show you guys the second step. All right, folks, we are back. It's been exactly 1 hour since our veg and our proteins hit the smoker outside. They have got a great smell right now, and they've not even gotten into this pot yet. So we're gonna go ahead and chop, dice these things up, put them into this pot, and start the basis for our gumbo. First thing I'm gonna do is chop up our vegetables and get them in there. They're par cooked. I mean, you could eat them right now as you probably could the sausage. The chicken I stopped just before 165 degrees, and that's okay because we are going to finish it off in the pot. Just going to do a 1-inch quick dice on these. You don't have to worry about it being super uniform. One of the things is by the time this all cooks down, it's all going to be kind of blended in together. So give that just a quick rough chop, throw that in there. Get this going, this party started. Smells so good. I mean, we use royal oak charcoal and everything that we cook with in the lab and here on the studio. I use it at home. We use it on a competition trail. It is the charcoal of choice. It's a hickory-based product, and you can smell it today. It's really, really, really fragrant. Hard to dice these. The vegetables, that's the one bad thing, I guess. If you want one bad take about pre-smoking these vegetables, they're not as sturdy. They're very floppy. Which isn't a bad thing. Turn this down just a little bit. Set this up a little bit high. Next thing we will put in there will be these beautiful poblano peppers that we smoked. The other great thing is, if you notice, I smoked these in a pan. We always smoke in a pan on the smoker. I don't like cleaning up, but this is one of the times that smoking in a pan is a great thing because not only does it help with me not having to clean that smoker out later when I get done cooking, it also catches these juices of all these vegetables and meats that we're cooking. And I'm gonna be able to add that back in as I create this flavor base for this chicken and sausage gumbo. The thing you'll notice next is how these 4 stalks of celery, if you remember, they were rather big stalks. They probably reduced in size down to approximately probably 50% of what their total weight was before. That's because celery's made up primarily of water and fiber. However, the great thing about this, like smoking this, it helps concentrate that flavor. It takes some of that water out of this, and it makes this actually, well, I know it's not a word, but tastes more celery. Not only am I butchering this dice on these slippery, slimy vegetables, I'm butchering the English language today. That's all right. Man, that smells good. It smells kind of like the walking down the fairgrounds in the the fall, you know, and you smell the kielbasa's cooking, you know, that they've got going on the various food vendors. That's what that smells like. Next thing I'm gonna do is slice up this house-made sausage, Redneck Barbecue Lab house-made sausage, into some bite-sized pieces. It'll give it a little depth of flavor as well. That sausage will fall apart. This sausage won't. This sausage got a little bit too much smoke on it there. It'll be all right. Finished product, they'll even one another out. Next thing I want to get in here is those boneless, skinless chicken thighs that it's talking about so much. Like I said, they pack a lot of flavor, pack a lot of moisture in them. I'm gonna cut these into fairly large chunks because they will break down as well. Most of this, as it cooks down, will fall apart. There will still be some chunks in there. It won't be a puree when we're done, but man, it smells good. Best parts about this job: cooking, smelling, and eating. Worst part's cleaning. If you would like to apply for a job here at the RBL studios, we don't pay anything. You have to clean the dishes, you have to clean the smoker, but you can't eat. Apply right down here. Just kidding. All right. Man, this smells good. All right. Cut the heat up on this just a little bit. The next thing that I want to do is I want to put in a thickener into this, and in Creole and Cajun cooking, the thickeners that they use are filet, F-I-L-E, ground sassafras root, and the other one that we've always heard of is a roux. Now, they have several books written about roux. They have contests written about these roux. There's various levels. The only thing I can tell you is to make my roux is 2 parts flour, 1 part oil. I use peanut oil and all-purpose flour. I use an oven to cook my roux. It may be a sacrilege, but I use an oven, cast iron Dutch oven to cook this in. This took about 2.5 hours to get to this. I guess this would be a dark roux, the consistency of it, and that's what I'm using in this. I'm gonna add in right now, and this just kind of get things going. I just wanna add in probably about a tablespoon into here, and I just wanna kind of get some of this in here and get it kind of binding on with some of the vegetables and stuff. Man, you can smell the roux in there now. Every time you add something, you add this base layer. Just you create this other level of environment in here. I want to go ahead now. This is the pan juice. This is why I said it's always great to cook with these pans. You get that pan juice in there. Next thing I want to start doing is start thinking about what kind of ingredients I want to add into this. And with a lot of gumbos, if you read about and see people cook, they have got a list. I mean, it could be into the teens of what kind of ingredients they put in it. Mine's a little bit more simpler. Granulated garlic, put a little granulated garlic into this, along with a little bit of thyme. This is probably about a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. This is roasted garlic. This is roasted garlic that I roasted on the smoker. I do it quite often. This will keep in your refrigerator in an airtight container, a Ziploc bag. something like that, and you can actually freeze it and bring it out when you need it. That's probably about a teaspoon. I know I've got onion in there, but I absolutely positively love minced onion in there. Got about a tablespoon of that going in there. Worcestershire sauce, about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of that. This is one of those preference things along with the hot sauce I'm getting ready to put in there. Depends on what you want to your taste. Remember, you can always add some more in the back end. It's kind of hard to take it out once you put it in. So, like I said, that's probably a teaspoon right there I'm putting in there. Hot sauce. I know it's Tabasco down there. Up here in North Carolina, Texas Pete. Probably about a tablespoon of that. You can always add that on the table as well. That's one of the things that it's a guest preference and your preference. A couple bay leaves go in here, as well as some Cajun seasoning. This is a regional Cajun seasoning that I picked up down there when I was competing on the road, made by a local purveyor. It's got a lot of different stuff in it, but like I said, one of the things it does have is that cayenne pepper, that kick and boost of heat that I like, that reminds me back here in North Carolina. All right, man, starting to come together, sweat a little bit. Scratch this bottom, kind of get some of that fond off the bottom there, that build up bits and pieces that I got on there that I left on there earlier when I was chopping the vegetables. Last thing, I had some of my homemade chicken stock. I know this is not the prettiest. It's not strained out. It's not refined. It's not, well, it's got no preservatives or emulsifiers or anything like that. This is the celery parts. This is the pieces of carrot that I got. These are the chicken backbones, the wing tips, the whatever vegetables I've kept that I put in there. When I build up enough in my freezer, I'll pull out on a cold rainy day and I'll make stock, and this is my stock. So this right here is about 2 cups that we add to it. It's one of those things, if you want it a bit thinner or a bit thicker, you add less, add more. As this cooks, it will come together, and you can use a little bit more of the chicken stock to thin it out, or a little bit of the roux to make it thicker. So what we'll do is we're going to bring this up to a boil. It's important to bring it up to a boil and let it boil for a little bit before we put it on the simmer. The reason is that the roux does not thicken until it hits a boil, meaning that it's at its most, it will start absorbing liquid, the flour in there, and start thickening it up, but it really doesn't start doing it until it starts boiling. So we're going to bring this up to a boil. Once this gets up to a boil, I'll give it a quick stir. I'll lid it, and then I'm going to let it sit probably anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll check it. So let's get this up to a boil, get a lid on it, and then we'll be right back with you guys. All right, folks, it's been 1 hour since we put the gumbo on the pot or on the stove to finish off. Let's see how things are. Oh, yeah. Smells great. Yeah, you guys are kind of handicapped being at home, but boy, that's one of the first things I love. It's like with a barbecue smoker, or, you know, the cake, or when the cookies come out, it's that first smell. Well, that's the beautiful thing about when you cook with these cast iron Dutch ovens. A lot of times it contains so much of that moisture and those aromas inside that when you get it, it's like Christmas when you open this thing up. This thing looks and smells unbelievable, but looks can be deceiving. There's only one true way to figure out like how we did today. So I'm gonna have to do that bad thing again, folks. Once again, I'm gonna have to tuck into this to see how we did. So get a little bit of this pot of rice. Got to have that pot of rice when you're cooking gumbo or any kind of stews. Rice is just the perfect medium. Maybe some people prefer potatoes, but with this, it's rice. We'll finish this off with a little bit of green onion. I just like onion. I think there's 4 different types of onions in here now. And finally, a little bit of parsley. Piece of bread. There you have it, folks. Chicken and sausage gumbo, Redneck Barbecue Lab style. Recap real quick on what we did here before we tuck into it. I'll be talking really fast because my taste buds tell me to. But we started out with the Trinity being the celery, onion, and we use poblano pepper in lieu of a green pepper today, along with our Redneck Barbecue Lab beef and pork sausage and 5 chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Put them into a pan. We put them into our smoker, 275 degrees, royal oak charcoal along with some cherry wood for flavor. After an hour, we pulled them out, we brought them in, we chopped them up, we put them into a pan. Into the pan, after those ingredients, we put in our roux. Our roux is a dark roux. It cooked for 2.5 hours in the oven. It was 2 parts all-purpose flour to 1 part oil. The oil that we chose today was peanut oil. Just something about that peanut oil I love. We baked it off in a cast iron pan before we cooked this in the oven. The roux will hold in a refrigerator or freezer up to 6 months. You can freeze it. You can make a big batch of it, leave it in the freezer. It's a great thickening agent, not only for gumbos or etouffees and stuff like that, but for sauces, stews and such. So we added that into it along with all of our spices, which, let's see if we go through them all. Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, garlic, granulated garlic, dehydrated onion, Texas Pete. You can use any kind of hot sauce you want. We in North Carolina here, we are fond of Texas Pete, along with a big old fat tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. You can lay off of that hot sauce and that Cajun seasoning. Remember, you can make this as hot as you want afterwards. So you may just want to start a little bit less. Less is more on the end. You can always put it back in. We added into that 2 quarts of our homemade, or two quarts, 2 cups, it's been a long day, 2 cups of our homemade chicken stock. And then we put it on here and let it simmer for about an hour. After an hour, I added just a little bit of the ground filet powder into it. This is basically ground sassafras root, something found in North Carolina as well as in Louisiana. This adds just another depth of flavor to this, this gumbo. So I guess that's that on how to do the recipe. That's that on how to prepare it. And I guess now we need to tuck in and see how we did. So I'll be the one for the job. I volunteer to go first. Try to get a little bit of that, a little piece of that sausage. Sausage is being kind of elusive. Let's see how we did. It's smoky, it's salty, it's savory, it's all these things. It's vegetables, it's meat, it's sausage, it's chicken. It's the filet powder, that sassafras root, it's cayenne pepper, it's Worcestershire sauce. It's all this stuff just kind of bouncing around like atoms in your brain. Kind of euphoric, to be honest. So, yeah, very pleased with this, and hopefully you guys will be pleased with this too. Like I said, just a little bit of attention, a little bit of time, and a little bit of patience. You guys can make this too, for your significant other, for your family, for your friends, or just make it for yourself as some kind of a comfort food. Once again, glad to have you guys here at the RBL Studios. I am Jerry Stevenson. I am the Chief Redneck in Charge at the Redneck Barbecue Lab in McGee's Crossroad in Benson, North Carolina. I'm here with my friend Mike Baker of Event Webcasting. He's the gentleman that's putting this on right now. He's the one that's doing the this live view for you guys right now. So big shout out to him, and a big shout out to you guys, because you guys are the ones that like this YouTube channel, right? You like this video, you like it, right? You're the one that shares it with your friends, right? And you subscribe, and you get that, you click on that bell for that notification. We're doing this for you guys, hopefully to inspire you, hopefully to enlighten you, hopefully just to make you laugh, or just say, okay, great, awesome, whatever. But let us know what you think down there in those comments, and give us some suggestions on some of the stuff you guys would like to see us do here in the RBL Studios in the future. As always, folks, be kind, smile, be patient, We need it, the world needs it, our kids need it. Thank you guys for stopping in. We'll see you guys soon. Love you guys.